Real quick, another life lesson. I had spoke about this not too long ago. Everybody's different, but everybody has a genius about them, genius within them. And what happens is, your genius, when it starts to come out, a lot of people might think you're crazy or weird or label you something that you might not be. You know, I'm sure people have been thought I was controlling, I was obsessed, I only want to talk about money and business, and don't get me wrong, it's some truth to that. But what you got to understand is if somebody's not as obsessed as you are with progressing in life, they might label you something because they don't understand you. Or somebody's wired different, right? Like my wife, for instance, she's like a genius in her own way. So sometimes the way she's wired, the way she reacts or thinks, I'm looking at her like, you tripping. But same thing vice versa. If I'm like in everything and I'm controlling, a lot of times she might look at me like I'm tripping. But what happens is, when you're showing some of your genius, other people might look at you like you're weird. Take, for instance, Kanye West. Now, he has his own set of issues, but in a lot of ways, he's a genius. So a lot of people think that people are weird just because their genius is coming out, right? So when I'm trying to have my hands in everything and I need everything to tighten up in our business because I see a vision that nobody else can see, when I nitpick little things, to the average person or doing an average time in their life, they're going to say, oh, you're controlling. But then if I ask somebody like Grant Cardone, he'll say, hey, control everything, right? Until it's done right, control everything. So I would try to delegate stuff and let go of control because I didn't want that title. I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad. But then I had to realize, you know what? Control is not bad when you have a vision and you have something you really need in life. Now, some people tell you differently, but what I want to say in this video is find your genius and operate in that genius, and don't let nobody tell you that you're tripping or that you're controlling. I mean, think about it for a second, but for the most part, can't nobody tell you you're tripping or you're controlling or you need to relax. And if they are, you got to look at that person and say, okay, what do you have that I want? That's no offense to anybody, right? If you ever have anybody put a label on you, it don't matter who it is. It could be your mom, your spouse, your brother, your sister. It could be anybody. It could be your pastor, anybody. When they put that label on you, because it happens all the time, ask yourself, what do they have that you want? And do they have the right to put that label on you? I got to the point in my life where I was questioning, I was second guessing myself. And everything that I thought came back around and I was right about either to the T or it's very close. But what that did was it gave me a high level of confidence. But what I want to encourage everybody to do is not wait till you come back around and discover you're right. Operate in your genius. Once you figure out what you're really good at, until somebody that's done it better than you comes around, and even then sometimes don't listen, but until somebody that's really better than you or that's done what you want to do or went to another level past where you're at, until that happens, why listen to somebody who's not as passionate or diligent about what you're doing, right? I know a lot of people look at me weird. I know a lot of people get tired of me talking about business and money, but that doesn't bother me because all that tells me is I can't talk to them that much, right? You get to the point where you're obsessed with what you want and you have a clear vision. You don't care about what other people think. And then if you find yourself being around people that are judging you or telling you to relax or whatever, for one, self-evaluate. Am I overdoing it? Am I stressing myself out? Am I really living, right? Self-evaluate, but then realize, okay, my vision is clear. This is what I want. I can personally say, man, I put 10 hours a day at a job 6 days a week. I can put 5 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week into my business, right? You got to rationalize. You got to ask yourself these things. Because some people might be like, why are you working so hard? Like, you making good money. Why are you working so hard? Like, if I give a job 60 hours, I can give my business at least 60 hours, right? So figure out, like, who you are. Be comfortable with who you are. And never let nobody tell you anything differently, right? If you're going to take advice, let it be advice from somebody that's on a higher level than where you're at, right? Not somebody that's around you that's just thinking that they're trying to give you good advice. Because even though they mean well, their advice might be all wrong, right? Somebody might tell me, relax, bro. You making this amount of money, you chill. And then I might forget, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to be average. I don't want to just leave a little money for my kids or a house for my kids. I want to leave money for my kids' kids' kids. So now I'm like, okay, well, I can't be average. I can't think average like that. Like, oh, relax. Well, I get my job 60 hours a week. I'm giving my business like 30. What do you mean, relax? Right? I'm talking about business all day, and I know that bothers people. But then those people aren't in my inner circle. I can't talk to those people. The only person I got to be mindful and not talk about business all day is my wife. Outside of my wife, my friends, my family that I keep in touch with, we might shoot the breeze here and there. But for the most part, I can't be on the phone more than 20, 30 minutes talking about just anything. I don't talk about sports. I don't talk about TV shows. I don't talk about drama. I don't talk about news. I don't talk about sad stuff because it doesn't do anything for my vibrations. I want to talk about business, financial gain. I want to talk about some Black power stuff, right? The history of Black people. I want to talk about spirituality. Other than that, I don't have time for it, right? So understand where you're at and who you are. Don't let people deter you from your goal, your dream, your vision. Don't let people label you because they don't understand how goal-driven you are, right? Most cases, people just don't understand because they're not reaching for anything great. Again, in most cases, people will not understand you because they're not reaching for anything great. All right, guys, I hope this message reaches somebody. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay motivated. Get around positive people. Don't let nobody ever tell you that you're doing too much. All right? And if somebody do tell you that, evaluate their life before you actually listen. All right? Have a good one.